Now let's talk about the moist test. What the heck? The moist test? Yes, I'll explain what this is, what this funny name is. The moist test. So, if you come from a direct marketing background at all, maybe you've heard of a dry test. Back in the day, they used to test infomercials or even magazine ad campaigns, and they would test selling a product that they didn't even yet have to sell. Like maybe they haven't even started manufacturing it yet. They'd actually collect people's money and they would tell them it'll be delivered in 6 to 8 weeks. Maybe you remember that if you've been around marketing for very long, that they used to promise 6 to 8 week delivery time. Well, that was usually because they'd have to go manufacture the product with the money that they collected, and it was perfectly legal as long as they delivered the product, I think, within 3 months, or I don't remember what the regulations were, of course, or if they couldn't deliver on time, they had to immediately notify the customers that there would be a delay and how much the new time would be, and of course, always along the way offer them a full refund. So I think some of that's still legal. I don't know how much it's still used anymore. Business moves at a much faster pace now. I think the conversions would be terrible. No one wants to wait 6 to 8 weeks for anything anymore. So, but that was called a dry test. So I invented a little method for myself using the internet. I came up with this many years ago. I call it the moist test. It's kind of a hybrid of the dry test or a variation of the dry test. Now, the first thing I need to tell you about the old moist test and about this process is this is not legal advice. So seek your own legal counsel, talk to your own business attorney, get their advice before you do any of this. I'm not an attorney. I'm not claiming what I'm about to teach you is legal in every possible jurisdiction, country, and is not something you can get in trouble for. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, personally. I personally think it's totally fine, in my opinion, right now, but I could be wrong. Privacy issues, with having to have a privacy policy and all these different things, those types of things change all the time, and this may be a borderline gray area thing. That some jurisdictions, some countries, and some, whether it's the FTC or some other country's marketing agency may have a problem with. They may think it's deceptive, or I don't know. I don't think it is, but seek your own legal advice as far as before you do this, because I'm not liable, of course, if you do this and run any trouble. But I've used this in the past, and here's the process. Here's what it is. Here's how it works. So the moist test is simply setting up everything like you would to sell a product. So you're going to have a sales page, video sales letter, whatever. And you send them to an add to cart button or to an order button. And basically, it's everything you would do to sell a product, but you don't have the potential customer submit their payment info. So you basically create what looks like a two-step order form. So it's like step one, enter your contact information. So it's like their name, their email address, their physical address, their phone number. You definitely want to ask for like that stuff. Of course, if you get clearance to do this. But you want to make sure you state the price. So for someone just clicking over the order form, sometimes they didn't even pay attention to the sales message of how much stuff was. So you want to state right up front, kind of the old, yes, please send me this product at this price, and you restate the benefits of it. So you say, yes, I want to order the super duper dog training course because I want my dog to be awesome, well behaved, and the best dog in the neighborhood in 7 days or less. And I want the full course. I understand today I'm paying $297 for the course, or $47, or how much it costs. So you want to state the price at the top up front. Then you have a form that asks for their name, their mailing address, their email address, and the phone number. The phone number is critical, because that's something some people won't go ahead and put in unless they're serious. So after they submit their contact info, to move on to the next page, you load a page that basically lets them know that the product is currently unavailable. So you basically give them a page that said, whoops, we're sorry, the product is currently not in stock, or it's not available at this time. And you basically give them two options. You basically say, we're sorry for this inconvenience, but if you would like to be notified as soon as the product is available, again, we'll give you a 25% off discount when it's available again if you decide to buy, as our way of making up this inconvenience for. Or you can say, if you'd like to be notified when it's available again, and if you order at that time, we want to make up this inconvenience to you by also throwing in this additional bonus, which you'll get at the time that you place your order, and it could be, something else, another little widget thing that you send them, or another special little mini course that they can download, whatever. Or you basically give them the option to say, no thanks, I'm not interested since the product's not available right away. Please delete my contact information. And then, of course, you need to honor that if they do say that, and you just delete them from like your shopping cart or from whatever system you are using to store the first part of the order form data. So here's why I do this and what I found. I found that about 80% of the people that will submit the contact information step, they would have completed a successful order. So about 80% of people that complete that first step would go on to actually successfully put in the credit card and actually buy the thing. As we talked about before, the average shopping cart abandonment rates are like 68% or whatever. So almost, only about a third of people that click to go to an order page end up actually buying. However, with this process, I've discovered that about 80%, and it has varied between 70 to a little more than 80, and it depends on markets. You may find some markets are much lower, you may find some markets are much higher, but as a general rule of thumb, I have found from some of the tests I've done that around 80% of the people that would go ahead and give all the personal information in the first form, unless they put in a bunch of fake, just typity, hitting the keyboard stuff, but 80% would have gone on to order the product. So if you were to go ahead and do this, of course, after getting legal clearance, you find out that it's okay to use for your business wherever you live. You'd be able to it's like selling the product without selling it, or selling the supplement without selling it, or selling the info product without selling it, or the SaaS or whatever you're going to do. But you can kind of get a rough idea of some conversion numbers and some potential sale numbers that you would make from whatever ad source that you're using to test this, if you would have had the product ready for sale. So let me tell you a quick story. So this was a long time ago. I want to say about 15 years ago, I wanted to sell I actually created an image hosting service for eBay users, which if you know anything about my history as an entrepreneur, you may already know this project that I did because I had talked about it before. I created an image hosting service for eBay. This is before eBay had it themselves. And it gave people an easy web-based way to upload a photo to my server. They put a button in their auctions that said view this item. It then loaded a page on my server that showed the photo. And of course, I had ads on the page, and that's how I paid for the service. Well, it went viral because I had a link on there that says click here to get free image hosting for your photos. It became one of the top 500 trafficked websites in the world in the late 90s when I did this. And so I had tons of traffic, millions and millions of visitors a week. And when the dot-com bubble crashed, the advertisers that we had that were paying us a lot of money to advertise on those photo pages, many of them went out of business, many of them ran out of money. So I needed something to promote on those pages because we were still getting all that traffic in order to make money for our business. So I thought about, well, what if we had our own product? Could we sell and collect money from people and make the money ourselves and not rely on advertisers? And so I thought, hey, what if we produced an info product teaching people like how to make money with eBay, how to run a business with eBay? I think that would go over really well. Well, before creating that video, we were going to do we did a DVD and a VHS tape, which is funny. Back then, more than half the people opted for a VHS tape. That just tells you the time that was. We were actually one of the first how-to DVD products on the internet. This was like 98, I think, 98, 99, 2000, right before, as the bubble, all that stuff was crashing. So it was cool. We had that product that was called Auction Secrets. I think it was around 2000 actually. And but before we produced the video and the product, I was like, hey, we should figure out a way to test to see if people would even buy this. So I came up with this moist test concept, and I did exactly what I just described to you. And I saw all these people that would have actually ordered it. We were going to sell it for $97. I literally wrote a sales letter. I told them what would be in the video. I told them what they'd learn. And then they went to click to order. They filled out the first step, put in their contact information. Then when they were taken to the payment stuff, it told them, hey, this video is currently not available for release. And I offered the discount thing and everything else. But here's what I discovered in doing this. We were losing something like something like $3,000 to $4,000 a day in potential sales of this product by not having the product existing to sell. Those are the kind of numbers we were getting by running the ads on those pages that we had, and by doing a little bit of pay-per-click marketing. Those were the types of sales we could have been making based on this moist test we ran. And let me tell you, nothing will motivate you faster to get a product made than knowing you're losing $3,000 or $4,000 a day in possible sales. So we hustled to make the product. And of course, once we had the product, and then we're able to actually the order form was a full working order form that took orders, then we start making the $3,000 to $4,000 a day. So you could run this type of process in order to gauge and get an idea of kind of maybe how many people would actually buy the product if you had it for sale. And once you start getting that data, nothing's going to motivate you faster if you get some positive results and some good metrics than knowing how many people are just waiting to buy that product from you every day. So, of course, do your own due diligence as far as the legality of where you are and using the method. But it's a very, very powerful process to test selling something before you actually have the thing ready for sale. And last but not least, this process can further validate your ability to sell a product, and you can start building a customer waiting list. So the beauty of, although we were losing out on all that money, we did have, all those people that we promised to give like a 25% discount to. So we did like a little mini product launch, when we finally got it made, and we said, hey, you were one of the people that tried to buy when we didn't have the product available. Now it's ready for shipping today. Here's a link to buy it and to get your 25% discount. And many of the people that tried to order it the first time around took us up on on buying it anyways, along with the discount, even once we, because we didn't get it out for I think 2 months, because back then it took a lot longer to produce video products and actually produce a DVD with an interactive menu and all that stuff. So it took some time. And imagine the agony of waiting almost 8 weeks of losing $3,000 or $4,000 a day. But that's just how it was back then. Things move much faster now, which is great. Anyway, so we built the customer waiting list that we then generated a bunch of sales as soon as we released it. So all wasn't lost for the people that tried to order during that time, because a lot of them still ordered. But anyways, the moist test, very, very powerful concept, something you may want to consider using.